I remember like when I first started my agency, I went through like all these very like high prestigious areas in LA, Ventura Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard. I was trying to do social media management and Facebook advertising. I was offering that shit for free. People were still saying no. That's different now. Even to this day, it's how I make most of my money is all through Google Ads. Even look now, look at your biggest competitor. They're probably running Google Ads. Right now, TikTok is so fire, it's so amazing. Say you start like something brand new. You need to create a market to search for this thing. And people only search for stuff when they see it. Short form content is probably like new class in college at this point. It's dope. It's dope. We live in a dope time.
Welcome back to the Beyond the Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Andres Sanchez, and we're back with another episode. Today, I have Denis, the Google Ads God. I'm so pumped to have this conversation, brother. I know we've been putting this together. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Sorry for being late. It's for when the traffic here is insane. The heat is crazy. There was a fire today.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Dude,
Yeah.
Growing up in Miami, like, I've learned, and like, I'm Cuban. We run on Cuban time.
Yeah,
That means
I've heard
30 to 45 minutes
Yeah.
late is like right on
Yeah.
time. So, dude, no worries at all. And Miami's ridiculous now. We've got so many people that have moved in. I've lived here my whole life. It used to take me 20, 30 minutes at most to get from here to Brickell. Now you could pencil in at least an hour.
It's like a good thing. It means a lot of people are here. It's a lot of people you can meet. The networking is good, but it is pretty jam-packed. It's not made and built for the amount of people that are here. So that's why they're building all these buildings right now.
Dude, the highways, like the construction's out of control.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so necessary.
Yeah, 100%.
So, dude, I want to talk a lot of different things. Like, one, I'm really interested in what you've built from a personal brand standpoint. I'm interested in what you've built with these agencies. But I always like to give the guests an opportunity to just talk a little bit about you. I got the chance to do research. You were raised by a single mother. Your mom was a big part of your childhood.
Yeah. 100%.
Let's talk about that part of your life and kind of work our way up to the person you are now.
Yeah, man. My mom was like superwoman to me. The fact that she was able to like raise, 4 kids in California is very expensive, and she was mentally tough on us. Like built this grit in us that I'm thankful for, because I was able to watch her grind and watch her take us from like living in like 1 bedroom to like a 2 bedroom to like a house within a gated community. Like I watched her grind, and like all my friends were always like, man, your mom never changes. She's always wearing like a like nursing outfit. And she would show up to my games like that, my football practice like that, and would just be there and just work. She like literally all I saw her do was work, rest, repeat. Not that that's like a good thing for long term, but I saw her work ethic, and she like never complained. If she ever did cry, she'd probably hide somewhere. I never saw it, and she just was like just about it, which made me have to get mad to her, because I was a little bad kid when I was younger. I was a little bad. I was actually born here in Broward County, Miami, Florida. Who moved out when I was like 6 or 7, all the way to California. And this lady's crazy, man. I wouldn't even do this with a bunch of guys, drive from here to California. She drove with just me and my older sister in the car, and 5-day trip, however long it took her to get to California, she did it. And just for a new life opportunity. And I'm thankful for it, because she would definitely she was really hard on us. Like I was a kid that wanted to like hang out with my friends and go outside and just be a rugrat,
Yeah.
And she'd be like, no, you gotta read this book, write a summary on the chapter, like doing stuff like that for me to be able to go out. And I'm like just like crying, like I just want to go outside. and I totally get why she had me do that, and it made a lot of sense, now. But yeah, she was on me about school, kind of very immigrant type upbringing, because my mom's British and Jamaican, and she was an immigrant here, and like I was like with her the day she like got her visa or whatever. I remember being a kid, and like we're like at some like building that looks like a courthouse, and like they're like everyone's waving flags. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, she was just a beast, and we needed that, and I was able to have that. It was like a blessing, because it makes it so much easier. Like now I just like look at hard work and stuff like that. Like I love it, eat it up. Like I don't see much competition. I just think that like someone might be ahead. I'm like, you're just ahead for a little bit. You're gonna gas out. I'm not, type thing. So I love it. Thankful for that.
Dude, I think, one, it's amazing that your mom was able to provide that, and I think you being mature enough to realize that and have that be the fuel to your fire is a huge reason why you're so successful. But it's also funny, because I've now interviewed, I think, 65 plus CEOs and business owners. Dude, almost everybody was a rugrat when they were a kid. Wanted to just be a bad kid. Because, and I think it speaks to, like, challenging the norms, thinking outside the box. Like, because when you're little, it's like, 99% of the kids just fall in line and go
Yep.
through, and then you
Yeah.
have that 1%. Because, bro, I was fucking horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
I was so
yeah,
bad as a
yeah.
kid, and it's funny. Like, you're not the first person that's like, yeah, I was
Yeah,
a pretty bad kid.
some people can't believe it too because I'm like so disciplined. Like I live in Miami. I don't drink. I don't like going out. I don't like. I always have to tell people like multiple times like I don't like to go out unless it's for business. I really don't like. I have no. It's not fun to me. I like to go.
Yeah.
My fun is like really chill things like getting hookah at a hookah lounge. That's just I'm chilling sitting there. But I have to always remind people all the times like I don't do that. I don't do this. I'm like it's like if my mom was alive, she'd be like pretty shocked probably like, yeah, this kid turned out all right, you know, because I was like I was definitely if it wasn't also for sports, I know we could probably get into that too. Probably wasn't for me transition to sports, and she kind of like she had a patient who ended up being like a good friend of mine now to this day, who was playing football and he had broke his arm, and he was like telling my mom about he plays football, that your son should try, it's good for aggression. She heard that and she was like, oh yeah,
Boom.
let me put him in some football, and like I was able to take out my aggression in football, and then I became super disciplined. I'll say by seventh grade I cut out soda. My coach told me you want to go to the NFL, just not you
No
want to turn
soda.
my body, no soda. I was like, don't gotta say no more. I was like that.
Nice.
So yeah, and I loved it, man. I let me know right away. Like if I'm passionate about something, I just cut cold turkey anything. I just put my all in it. So it was and I knew that from that. I knew that from that young age too. I was like, oh yeah, like I know when I really like something. Like I have this feeling that like lets me know I'm passionate about something. And football was that thing, and then turned into like obviously like business as well, like you know on the marketing agency side of things. So
Yeah, and like we were talking about before we hit play with the cameras, I love to bring up sports when I talk to entrepreneurs that played at a high level. I know you were a top recruit. You played football in California. I'm not going to say it's better than Miami. I think
no,
Miami's the
not,
hot spot.
yeah, I don't think we want to say that.
But you were
I'm so Miami bred,
Yeah,
you know. So
still a Broward boy at heart.
yeah.
So, but California has always had some of the toughest competition. You stood out there. And you kind of already mentioned it with the discipline, but how much does playing sports at a young age affect the person you are down the road?
Yeah, I think it affects a lot because it lets you know right away if you're gonna be disciplined. Teaches you that grit, work ethic. It gives you like failures and tribulations. You know, like you kind of go through ups and downs. You know, in times that you kind of need to be challenged as a human, and you kind of get that through playing sports. Like I went through a challenging time. I remember when I was like doing kindergarten. Like around that time, I was doing karate. I couldn't break the board. You know, I remember being hurt. This girl broke the board, and I couldn't break the board, and that had me crying. I was bawling, and it's like I was a skinny kid, and that skinny kid ended up being a very very strong person later on. You know, so I think you have to go through stuff like that. You know, and I heard this UFC fighter, is that Usman Usman or something like that?
Kamaru.
Yeah, Kamaru Usman. There we go. Yeah, he was talking about wrestling where he like got pinned by a girl. The dude went up like Olympics and like UFC champion and stuff like that. So like you kind of need these like failures because they do teach you like they hurt so bad, man, do they hurt, but they teach you like so much things. You get so strong on the other side of that. It's like it's just a better you. You know,
it's huge. And like I always like to think back. It's like, man, you're 10 to 13 years old, so young, tossed into a dugout or a bench with 30 people you don't know, all with different upbringings. All trying to win a game. Like you get so much more perspective than the kids that didn't play sports because of the amount of interactions. Like I remember I was 12 years old traveling around the US. My mom's taking me city to city. We're playing with different teams. I'm playing with kids I didn't know
so dope,
10 weeks before that. And like you've got to go in and make friends and be social. I look back now at 25 to that 12-year-old me and I'm like, man, if I didn't have those experiences, I don't think I'd have the balls to do a lot of the things I do now.
Yeah, and if you ever talked to someone that didn't have those experiences, or even like, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was like shocked how I think I overheard someone just like asking for like simple things to me that are like not knowing how to be a go getter. It's like I can't even imagine like sitting on the sideline.
Yeah.
If for reference, like if I like want to go do something, like I'm gonna just go do it in a sense and try to figure out my way. And like some people just are so scared they just don't even try to make that first step. And it's like that's never been me. Like it's like a crazy like different rewired brain for me to think like, all right, let me not try to start this business because I just already think it's gonna fail. Like that's kind of crazy to me, you know.
So, and I mean, just in talking to you now, like you can see that you're a go-getter. You could see you're somebody that dives head first. One of the toughest things for an entrepreneur is shiny object syndrome. How do you kind of balance that?
I don't have that. I just love what I do. I see a lot of moving to Miami. I felt like a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, when I first moved here, it was like this whole crypto thing everyone was talking about and trading thing, and now it was that NFT thing after that. I block out all the noise, man. I love what I do. I know that every business needs it. I know it gets innovative, and I keep staying in my lane. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of different ways to make money. I was telling someone the other day, I kind of probably hurt myself not jumping into a lot of things because I just don't have interest in it. Even though I know it probably can make me money. It's just like I like to do what makes me money.
Yeah.
That I like, you know. So it kind of for me, I just have that tunnel vision focus on what I'm doing. So I block out a lot of noise, man. It's like, and you have to, because especially nowadays, like there's so many distractions. And if you think about even people who are focused and you're seeing them get distracted, imagine people who are not even that focused. So I get why there's a lot of consumers, you know, and there's only a few people producing.
Yeah.
It's insane seeing that.
I mean, especially Miami. Like, Miami's tough, man. Yeah. It's like, one, you'll be exposed to the unlimited ways to make money because I've already seen it now. Mm-hmm. I've interviewed people that tell me how they make money, and I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, how? Where did you find that? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and somebody you know, Renee Lacotte, when I was interviewing him, we kind of got into a rant about, like, that money is infinite. Yeah, that's just, it's everywhere, and you just got to go grab it. And we went down a rabbit hole, like, because I had a camera team there. And we went down the rabbit hole. He's like, somebody in another country built that camera and then sold those parts to somebody else. And then that person sold it to your camera guy. And then your camera guy's charging you to film with that camera. And then you're having me on the podcast and you'll post it. Yeah. Money's just endless. You just
and then the platform makes money off you posting on their platform. They sell the data and it makes their shares go up and they sell. It's insane. It doesn't stop. Yeah. And that's the whole rest. Funny you guys went on a rant like that.
Yeah, dude, because it was like, I mean, it's crazy. And once you open your eyes to that, you then start to see so many more opportunities that you didn't see before. And it's good to hear that you're so like locked in because one of the main things that I've learned is, like you just said, you might have lost money because you didn't jump into some of these things. Yeah. I have had so many people come on the show that have made 30x more money than some of the people that I've had come on the show that have made a lot of money. Yeah. And those 30xers are the ones that are like, yeah, I just stayed in my lane and I just absolutely blew my thing up. Didn't focus on all these other side quests that I probably could have made some money on. And then over time, just compounding, I made significantly more.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to do it. So it's like, I don't even want to say it's the right way. There's too many ways to do what you know, like probably every other week I meet a kid that's younger than me that did something on TikTok or on Snapchat.
Dude, it's crazy.
And made some crazy money, and like now they're trying to like figure out what to do because it was almost too fast. Yeah. You know, it's just a different time. I love it though. I love the time that we're in. I like technology. Some people are scared of it. I've definitely seen it do some harm. I've definitely seen it like ruin a lot of things. But at the same time, it's like it's just exposing us as humans, really. You know, so
I think we're blessed to live in this time, and I think that we are living in the golden era. And it's funny, you look at the gold rush back then, and it was like that select few people that moved across the country, grinded it out, made it. Yeah. We're in that same thing, just online, and there's no location barrier. Yeah, anybody can do it now.
You could be in Nebraska.
I interview people for VA roles that are in Pakistan, working in a computer in a random bedroom that are running it up.
I was talking to someone the other day. They're seeing everything. Like a lot of like the VAs right now, they're seeing everything.
What does that mean?
Like they're seeing everyone's business model because a lot of people are like hiring remote and like stuff like that. They're seeing like they're seeing a lot of things that are working. So it's very interesting what ends up happening because they're seeing a lot of stuff. They can easily steal a lot of different business information and just rebrand it, stuff like that. And
I've thought of that as like a potential. Yeah. And it's funny. I was watching CNBC today during lunch, and I was listening to an investor from I think it was BlackRock talking, and there's a lot of VAs that get hired out of India, like a lot of VAs. And I work in big tech. A lot of outsourced stuff goes through India. He mentioned the number one gold mine for next 2, 3, 4 decades is investing in India. And then I started thinking, I'm like, all of these people have their fingers in all of these business models because everybody's offshored everything. They know how to just rinse and repeat and replicate. I'm thinking we're going to see this kind of And I think the info space will be hit the hardest because they're ones that typically outsource a lot of the process. But you're right. Like, they know how everybody's cooking.
They see it. They see a lot. I know, like, I just trained a lot of them, but when it comes like running, paid ad structure and stuff like that, that's why even in my business to scale, I did the whole thing where I partnered up with some people to have like a in-person team. They weren't even operating at the level that I could have just, and the amount of money it costs to do that, when I could have kept doing like a VA thing and just keep training them on new ads, integrations, stuff like that. It was way cheaper, and I'm like, damn, now you're teaching them, and you're teaching them at scale. So it's like that's why I always know that, yeah, they're gonna, someone's probably just investing in just buying everyone's data at this point, and just replicating it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. So, do you know Nick Huber? His goes by Sweaty Startups on
I think,
X.
I've seen his stuff, but don't know him too much, but yeah.
Yeah, so him and Sean Perry, the guy from My First Million.
Okay, yeah.
They just bought controlling stake in a company called Shepherd, and it's now called Somewhere.com. They paid $54 million for it, and it's like the go-to offshore hiring company.
Interesting.
But they make you do 12 to 18-month contracts, so a lot of like the info space people don't use it because the turnover's so quick.
Yeah.
But this guy who's uberly successful just put his biggest bet on offshore, on this offshore model. I think there's a massive disruption in corporate America that a lot of these big companies are getting ready to offshore a lot of low-level stuff.
I definitely knew that. I don't know why you thought you said a different name. I'm a big My First Million fan. I watch it all the time.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah, it's like, they blew up. Like, they blew up. But yeah, they just even their conversation, exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're singing everything, and they're probably talking, but they're like, should we talk about this on camera or not? Because they know that they're probably going to steal it or to be like they're. Because that's one of the things that everyone just wants to know, like why we join all of these groups, because you start, you get in the game of like you love learning and hearing. So I don't watch anything else. I'm pretty sure like any girl's ever around me, it's like probably like I'm not gonna watch this shit with him because I'm just always watching some business podcasting. Cause I just geek out, go watch stuff forever. But it's just like I definitely know that they're probably gonna have all this data. They're gonna collect this and see what's working, what's not working. How big is the market? Can we replicate? That's. Those guys, right? They talk about it on their shows. Their show is all about that.
Yeah, they're not going to miss.
Yeah. So.
Unfortunately, the people that aren't paying attention and aren't locked in are going to be the ones that miss.
I've gotten really good ideas from them too. Just like hearing them talk about stuff. I love that type of stuff.
So, we've been talking about just business and this. Let's talk about your businesses. You're huge in the Google ad space, Facebook ad space as well. But correct me if I'm wrong. Google was like your first kind of calling.
Google, even to this day, it's how I make most of my money is all through Google ads. I started out as a Facebook media guy, but I didn't do it publicly because for when this was like years ago, I already knew that it was a little bit easier to like always, it was like not as tedious as Google ads. Like Google ads still is very tedious. It's very like, even someone good at it might not want to do it for too long unless they like actually like love the process and all that. Even for me, I think it's tedious. I have my team backhand to kind of like cut certain things for me before I come in. Like, hey, just do this part for me, do that. Like, I already kind of know, like, certain things need to go through the protocols. But, it's just, I kind of went out that way because it was like no one else was really talking about it. I had one other friend who I went into business who kind of, like, even helped me put me on a Google Ads. And me and him, like, started off with the e-commerce store, and we were just, like, crushing with Google Shopping. We had, like, there was probably maybe, like, 200, 300 competitors. There's, like, millions of products. Like, it was just, like... it was just at this time, like, you pick a product type thing, like, pick a product, we check the search volume, it's good. Is there any other, there's no other good, they have bad pictures, the landing page isn't good, bet, like, we're just
turn on the print.
Yeah, so that was before I went all in, on a marketing agency, because we had an issue where we had fulfillment issues, money got frozen, so we were like, we need money, and so we started just offering our services to people, and I was like, wow, a lot of people are doing this. This was like the Shopify wave at the time. Now it's kind of came back.
Yeah, right.
Whole other
E-commerce
conversation.
is kind of back
Whole
now.
other conversation that could go start off that, and I'm just like, I'm like, damn, am I getting old? Because you hear the old guys talk about like history repeats itself and stuff like that. I'm like, I've been in business for like 10 years, or at least not. Like, I haven't been running my business for 10 years, but I've been in that business world for like 10 years. Like I was working for other agencies and stuff at the time, so I'm starting to see stuff repeat itself, and I'm like, oh, this is how you hit. Like this is how you hit. Because now you're starting to see like. Yeah, so long story short, definitely seeing that happen right now again. And that kind of that was something that kind of when I jumped into there, just to go back, like I jumped into the Google Ads spot, and then I just was like, there's not really someone too big on hand. There are people big, like there's a lot of guys like on YouTube who are really good on YouTube. They have like more of a bigger YouTube channel. People won't really know them because they're really like they're kind of like to themselves.
Yeah.
Because with the marketing stuff too, like it's like you could decide either to be like just ghosts or like you could be present. And a lot of brilliant minds are not even that present. Like some of the guys, like some of my friends in my friend group that are like wizards with marketing stuff like that, don't care about social media. They don't. So like I always have that dilemma in my head, like, do I pull back? And it's kind of something that's also made me kind of feel super chill on social media as well. Is that I didn't want anyone to think I was a guru. So if anyone thinks I'm a guru, please don't think that because I will fight you. I will beat you up. I'm a nice guy though. I'm really nice, but I just can't. I don't like, especially out here. People like crush. People ruin the online space, and the guru look for me.
All right, Miami followers, make sure you go up to
Yeah,
him next time you
yeah.
see him in Brickell and tell him he's a guru.
Please don't tell me I'm a guru. Please don't. And so I've tried to stay away from that. That's why I never like really went full on selling a course, mentorship, stuff like that. I was like, I don't want people thinking like I'm putting them on game just to like sell them a course. I like teaching people, like putting people on. I do a lot of that shit for free. Like I put so many people on for free and do favors all the time. But even though I know I should be monetizing it a little bit more for cash flow to really pump up my business, so I'm like doing myself a disservice and my family a disservice not doing that. I just didn't like the look.
Yeah.
I was like, there needs to be another way. There needs to be another way. So like I've like done info products where I'm like not being shown and I'm run ads stuff like that because I'm like I don't want people seeing me like just I don't want that perfect like I have a routine. I do have a routine. Obviously,
Yeah.
if I don't I take my shirt off, I don't look like some Joe Slow.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to like sell you on my routine.
You're
And
not cold plunging every morning for
yeah,
Instagram. Maybe
yeah,
you are
and
doing it,
and I am, but no one's really seeing it.
Yeah.
Like I let people see some of my workouts sometimes, but it just got to that part. It's like, damn, like I want to post, but now it's like it's gonna look like I'm trying to do something. It's like so it makes me like kind of second guess it, just because we're at the time that we're in. Some people monetize what I do on a daily basis as like a normal thing, and they're making good money on it. So it always makes me question stuff. Now I'm like, should I come out with a be a man starter kit type thing? Like it just comes to my mind a lot.
That Andy Elliott wave of like finding these people, and it's
to me it's like sports shit that you did when playing sports. Like you had class, you had to like wake up early, whatever your conditioning was, and you had to go to class. Now you're just doing that with work. You wake up, go to work, it's like the
dude, and it's funny you mentioned the sports thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think Florida just passed that it's illegal to have NIL deals for high school athletes too, which is nuclear. Because I'm talking
gonna ruin some stuff,
dude. I have one of my best friends is a lawyer, and he wrote like a really good article on how NIL will ruin sports, and it's actually like it's a really good article, and I think it's very valid because when you think about 10, 15 years ago, you didn't get your bag till you made it.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if you were at UF and you were the guy.
Yeah.
You were making you were eating at the cafeteria. You were making no money.
There were everywhere. Everyone does know there was obviously some people getting something behind the table.
Yeah, but nothing like it is now.
Yeah, nothing like it is now. And they're definitely not that much. They'll probably get a free car if they're actually at a big program. They have money, stuff like that. There is stuff happening. I definitely would say, like, I do feel like they should be making money off the games. Like, they should be giving them something.
They should be making money off the jerseys, the sales, but the sponsorships.
Like, because they did Reggie Bush bad. Like, I ran to Reggie Bush, like, probably, like, 2 weeks ago in the mall in California. And I was a huge Reggie Bush. Like, I was number 5 because of him. Like, this guy didn't, I literally ended up looking like him, damn near. And so, like, what they did to him is, like, he made that school billions of dollars.
Yeah.
He made, I wanted to go to USC so bad, because of him. Like I ended up going there. I ended up getting partial to UCLA, and I bounced around a few JUCOs, stuff like that. But like I was like a USC fanatic because of him. Like and so many other people, he made so many people be number 5, like change the world. And the fact that they didn't give him anything, and even they did, but the fact that they like used that to take, I was like, I can't believe I didn't let that happen. And he's just such a stand up guy. Oh my god, he's such a stand up guy. He's a unicorn, like too. Like and I can't believe they even did him dirty like that. But
yeah, it's tough. Like I 100% think if they're selling jerseys with their numbers on them, they should be getting paid for that.
Yeah.
They should be getting revenue from what's happening at the stadium. But like when you think of
TV deals too, like the advertising they be selling, you see all those big advertisements happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to come off like I'm somebody that says no, they shouldn't be getting paid. But
no,
like,
I feel you though.
Some of it's just out of control now. Like, dude. University of Texas Austin just had their recruits come in, and they walked in. They walked into the stadium, and they had 30 Lamborghinis lined up, revving their engines for all the recruits as they came through.
Are you serious?
They didn't give them the Lambos.
I know, but damn,
it's still
I'm surprised I didn't see that.
Dude,
That's crazy.
Dude, it's hilarious. Like it's just like UF, for example. They have no more scholarships. They have no available scholarships right now. But 4 5-star recruits just transferred to UF as walk-ons.
UF is like
University of Florida. Yeah, the Gators. Okay. Yeah, they have no more scholarship spot right now, technically, because it's all given out. They have a limited amount of scholarships. Okay. But 4 5-stars just walked on the team.
Interesting.
Let's be honest. They just got a bag.
Yeah.
A booster just signed a huge check.
Yeah, something.
They just got a bag.
Something
and
happened,
that's unfortunately what's going to happen. And I think that's the little bit of the sad part.
The one thing I do like about it, because
we're going on a riff.
Yeah, no, it's because this is I've been talking about all I've been doing today. I've been running ads, building out different ad campaigns, doing market research. I'm going into a whole thing of M&A, so we talk about that too. Like a lot of businesses that are buying or selling end up either keeping the marketing team or needing a new marketing team. So that's a whole other thing. A new network of world I've been getting into. But with what you're saying is that the only thing that's going to be interesting is that it's going to make college football way more even based than before. Because I got sick of Alabama always crushing everybody because it was like, I want to see a little bit more competitive now, which is to make it fun, Yeah. That's the only good part.
Let's see. I mean, look, another cool thing that we get to live through, a huge change in college sports, which have been the same for 50 plus years.
It's been always the same top 25.
Yeah, so let's see. I mean, bro, there could be random, like a funny example. High Point, North Carolina. That's a school in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. High Point is like the middle of nowhere, little city.
It sounds like
the college is like a 30 out of 10. Some billionaire bought it. The facilities are unreal.
Oh my God.
The campus is unreal.
And it's in High Point, North Carolina.
It could be a school like that just says, you know what? We want a football team now, and starts throwing bread out.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna have to start adding now to get that edge. Because now that there's like that money that's kind of moved around, like is it gonna be like, hey, we're gonna help you build your social brand. You have better agents. Like it's gonna be something that
there's gonna have to be some compelling offer that they come through. That's it. I didn't think about it that way.
That's what I was always. I mean, that's why everyone was going to those bigger schools in the first place, because it was like you knew you were gonna get marketed higher at a higher point, more TV time, more people watching, like better opportunity. The like agents right there type thing. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure every sport's different, but it's the same thing. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's a crazy time we live in, man. It's like we're living through a lot of history. That's what's also makes you know you're getting old, man. We're getting old. Because like there was just like everything else would seem like when we were younger, it just seemed like it was the same old, same old. So much had changed. So much history has changed. We're in a digital history, world records changing time. Obviously internet is in its 30s. If like it being used amongst all people at least. I'm not like it's total alive, but us like using it day to day, like it's still in its 30s are really like the new 20s now. So it's like it's not that old, and it's like that's why so much stuff are changing. Like
I had in college we had the CEO of Pepsi for their Europe division come in and talk to us in business school, and he put up a chart, and it was like an innovation chart, and they did a formula to define innovation of like things that change, monetary things, physical things, and they start the chart in 1940. And it's going through, and it's just kind of going like this. For people listening, I'm not going straight up right now. It's kind of going like this, going like this, going slowly getting better. Yeah. 1995 to now went just straight hockey stick.
Yeah.
And he's like, we don't know when it's going to stop. Nobody knows when the hockey stick stops. It could be tomorrow. Yeah. It could be 50 years from now. It could be never. We never look back and slow down. You guys are just in an accelerated world now, and that's how it's going to be.
Man. It's definitely that. And if you notice that it's caused like, that's why when I was younger, I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know like a lot of these other feelings and emotions that people like depression that people were having, stuff like that. I heard about this kid in Texas. He committed suicide right before graduation. I'm like, this kid is too young to be like committing suicide.
You hear about the pro golfer? There was a pro golfer on the PGA Tour that was in an event.
PGA Tour, which is like a lot, just to be on the tour.
Yeah, he's
don't have to win. That's like that's at the highest.
And he's a top 50 player. He's not a random guy either.
Oh my God.
He was in a tournament 3 weeks ago, I believe. It was Saturday, and for people that don't know golf, they play Thursday through Sunday, a round a day. It was on Saturday. He made the cut, didn't show up for his round. They went. He committed suicide. and didn't finish the tournament. And he had mental illness and some issues. A guy at the top of his game, at the peak of his life, in his low 30s.
And like something like that, having mental issues, that's like a sport where you have a good strong mental too. I don't know what's going on, but that's
it's like I think it's a little bit of information overload in the world right now.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I have like that tunnel vision, just like kind of stick with money, because like you're never gonna like it's like if you overcomplicate it, you're gonna make it's like you manifest overcomplication, like oh I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. Like you just need to focus on and then you have to enjoy the process too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to know that where you're at right now, you're meant to be there. You're doing what you need to do. As long as you're doing what you need to do, don't overstress it. Be thankful, enjoy the process, and you'll get your wins. Like people need to kind of think that way instead of like, oh, I'm not there. This person's doing better than me. This and that. Like, and then that sounds miserable. That just sounds miserable, and that's what is it's affecting a lot of people. It's affecting like people just by them personally, by themselves individually, relationships, family stuff. Like everyone's constantly like looking at other people's stuff and like, damn, I wish I was doing that.
Yep.
It's good to get motivated, but it's like different to like look at things a different way and then like let it taint your heart and all this other stuff. But
yeah, social media has got a tight grip on people.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that a 30-second reel that you saw when you started your day could throw you off for the rest of the day is a problem. Like that is an issue. And a lot of people suffer from that where they're like, oh, well, this girl's doing this and I'm not. And it's like, bro, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, just swim in your lane. Just do your own thing.
And like enjoy the people and enjoy you and only focus on those people,
100%.
Like, that's one of the things. And then you hear a lot too. Like I hear a lot. I had a few friends do this, even my older sister, be like, when they delete their social media. Because I'm like, damn, like I know they're letting it get to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never deleted my social media ever. I never even think about doing that. I love to see everything.
Yeah.
Like it excites me, but I could see how it could also like make someone feel the other way. And I'm like, damn, like yeah, if this was hurting me like that, that would suck if I felt like that because I use all this for motivation. It makes me excited. I love seeing other people win. It makes me like know that there's hope. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of how I use it. When I see someone else, when I'm like, all right, this guy did it. Okay, thank God. All right, all right, we could do this. Type thing. So, but other people look at the other way, like they take it. I'm like, damn, don't beat yourself up like that. That's the worst thing to do. Yeah, man. It's interesting times, man. We're in the beginning. Like even right now, us talking about it. God knows what this is gonna turn into in the next 10 years. Like, do you remember? Like you're like I'm 5 years older than you, so it's not that big of a difference. So like, if you just remember like MySpace. And then when Facebook came around, the age gap difference between that, like, no one really thought it was that cool to use Facebook. Then I
didn't have a Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So it ended up being popular. And then from there, Instagram came out, and Snapchat came out, and like Snapchat was like, it's funny, Snapchat's still like the college young thing still. It was like that back then. And it still has that like that huge demographic. And just seeing like how each like platform kind of changed and was monetized certain type of ways. And then seeing how businesses started using it. I remember like when I first started my agency and I was like going through like business to business, not even door to door, business to business, in LA, Ventura Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard. I'm going through like all these very like high prestigious areas, all nodes, and I was trying to do social media management and Facebook advertising. I was offering that shit for free, too. And people are still saying no. That's different now.
No, people would be eating that up.
Like they're either doing it already or they're gonna do it with you.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with marketing. So I tell people like they're either gonna be paying you to do it or they're gonna be paying someone else, but someone has to do it.
Someone's getting paid.
And so it's crazy to see that, and I always think about that all the time, cause like that was like awakening for me. And guess what? When I was getting all those no's, was I stopping? Was I like, did I quit? I've been doing the same shit since like 2014, 15, right when I was done playing football. So kind of lets me, like I kind of don't. I'm here where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like obviously you want to level up and innovate what you're doing. So to me, like you see like Alex Hormozi, you see like Gary V. They're doing the same thing, but like the big hedge funds, they have marketing agency commercial they buy, and they just buy companies, run them through the machine. Gary used to always say his whole strategy, but won't go into detail. Alex Hormozi goes into more detail. I listen to Gary V a lot, and like I would, like years ago, Google got it from him too. He wouldn't talk about it too much. All I needed to hear him say was, yeah, I was running Google ads for the wine, and you were getting the top this and that, and that's all I needed to hear. I was like, damn it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Google ads, what am I doing? I search on this thing all the time. I'm not using it for yet. So I had one of those moments like years ago. And one of my best friends was like, he hated Gary V's voice. He'd be like, turn that shit off. He'd always say, I'm like, bro, like he's speaking my language. Like you don't understand. Like Like I always this every time he says stuff, like he just has to say a little bit. He doesn't even go into full detail. I'll take it from there. I just need to hear that one thing, and I'm like, that's what he was doing. And a lot. I started looking at all the big companies. They're all doing the same thing, running Google Ads, and even look now. Look at your biggest competitor. They're probably running Google Ads every time, and they're doing other hacks. Like right now TikTok is so fire. It's so amazing. Like thank TikTok for becoming a thing because they open up a new marketing channel.
Yep.
So now, like, if you say you start like something brand new, it could be like a product, like an e-commerce product. You need to create a market to search for this thing, and people only search for stuff when they see it and when they get inspired by these short stories. Like short form content is probably like a new class in college at this point. Like
For real.
to be an expert at this, being able to tell a story short form really fast, that's a game changer with like all type of brands. So people do now is you take that you go on TikTok heavy with organic and you make a bunch of short form content on that. One of those will pop off and then you use that as ads. You can run on multi platform. But that's like the best way to kind of like get a new product or service whatever out there. Because people sometimes don't know what they're looking for. Sometimes you gotta
show
put it in
'em.
front of them.
Yeah,
You don't need a Coke,
no.
or the drinks. But if I make it, I need you to see it and taste it. Then you might want it.
Yep.
So like that's how people are just creating all these different type of things. Like you just we are in a land and time of just you really could create at scale.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the process now, which I can't talk publicly yet, of launching a supplement brand. And it's going to be through TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok's gonna be your best friend.
It's that formula
Yeah,
you just
TikTok
said
will
of
be your
just
best friend.
rinse and repeat. So I'm excited to get my kind of piece of the pie here because I'm tired of interviewing people that are like, yeah, I made $1 million.
Yeah, and even for those that can't even, a lot of people are struggling right now. Even I'm like struggling right now. I haven't asked enough. It's not my main focus. That's why I'm probably struggling. I haven't got my TikTok shop open. I just get clients that come in that want to like use ads for another way. But don't even have to even worry about making a TikTok shop if you don't. You still could. The Shopify is still a wide open lane, but you still could go on TikTok and make the market for your product. They're gonna still go search for it.
Yep.
And if you're not on Amazon and at least you're on Google or one of the two, they're gonna find your product. So it's like it just opened up doors and lanes that people just didn't have. This if for running a paid ads only type thing. That's at least an organic strategy that people could use. So it's dope. It's dope. We live in a dope time.
We live in a dope time. So you mentioned you've been in the game now almost 10 years, since like 2014. What are you excited about right now? Like what right now is that like gold rush?
Definitely, just like the fact that because I've been in the game for so long, I'm getting to get like that respect because I've always stayed doing the same thing, and people look at that. Like people look at like how this person changed. You've seen a lot of guys out here like they're a crypto person one day, they're an Amazon person the other day, they're this thing the other day, and no knocks them, they're hustling. Like you gotta hustle and do what you gotta do. But just for me, I was just always like, I just like this thing. I want to be known for this thing because it's like to me like marketing is such a big part of business. Like yeah, you could come up with some new and creative product and have a patent and stuff like that, which is good. It helps you get more investors, help it easier to exit, blah, blah, blah. No one can rip you type thing. But you're always going to need someone to be pushing the marketing and advertising. And I've loved that business model because I could always go into every business. So I just like the new products I get, every new project I get, it's like, those are like my dopamine hits, I feel like it's just like, oh, new project, I got to figure this out. I get injury attorneys and just real estate broker, like all these different interesting things that I wasn't in at all. I'm now having to learn and research on it. I love learning, so that kind of keeps opening my door. It could be from a girl product to some we're selling old men medical type, services, and I love just getting these new stuff,
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually thinking about that while we were talking. Like, it's a pretty fun business model for you. You constantly get plugged into these different markets, and you get to learn how the psychology for the purchasing of these products work. Like you, kind of like what we're talking about, the VAs have your hands in the back of all of these big businesses. What's your favorite business that or product that you've gotten a chance to be associated with?
Damn.
Putting you on the spot.
Like a physical product.
It could be a physical product, or if it's easier, just a industry that's fun to be a part of.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think of like what's making me the most excited. I'm like, no, they all kind of make me super excited.
Which is a fair answer too.
What I say with the most boring thing I ever did would be more probably of an easier answer, because I kind of liked everything.
So what's the most boring thing you've ever had to be a part of?
and I don't want to even say it's boring because they're definitely gonna, my client's definitely gonna watch this. I'm sorry, client, but we're friends. But it's like boring, but it's also kind of weird to me because it's like has to do with like people dying. It's like it's a market of people selling life insurance. Well, there's the opposite of life insurance. Okay, all right. I don't pick the. Some people come to me. I don't really pick the.
Yeah.
I just they just want me to do marketing, but it's a very interesting thing. Yeah, I wonder how my siblings would feel about that because my mom passed away, and I kind of went through this process when I got this on my plate. I was just kind of like, that's so interesting. I remember when I was young and my mom passed, and I was like, I didn't know you had to pay to die. I swear I had no. Did you know when you were younger?
I didn't know you had to
Cause
pay to die.
I
I
didn't.
think I just found that out
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Like, oh, you don't know?
No.
No way. You don't. Yeah, so, you pretty much like when you die, like someone has to like cover the funeral costs. All it costs money.
Oh, yeah.
And it's expensive.
Yeah, dude.
So when I'm younger, it was like just my mom. Man, it was just my mom and me and my older sister were like the oldest ones. And I remember like sitting with our pastor, and he like tapped me on my shoulder like as if he was doing us a future. He was like, "Don't worry, like I won't give you guys a funeral charge." And I was like, "That's supposed to be a pat on the leg, like."
Yeah.
Like I thought you'd have done that just regardless, and I just saw the pricing. Like they gave, I don't know why we were just like the only ones handling it.
Yeah.
Like
It's expensive.
a lot of my family was like in England and Jamaica. It was just my mom and like I had an aunt in Cali, like in LA. So I'm seeing these numbers like 13,000, 18,000, different charges for different things. I did not know that. I didn't know there was a charge. So like that was very interesting. So when I got this on my plate, I like went back to that moment, like remembering how much this costs. I was like, why people need like this like life insurance and death insurance,
Yeah.
to like kind of cover stuff and all that. And so it was a very interesting moment for me. But I was also like, this is not boring, but it's just like it's just
Not very
but
fulfilling.
but I'm also you are helping people because they need money
Yeah.
and you're helping them fund stuff like that because it is a stressful time if you don't got the money. So it is something that you are like really helping people. But it just was interesting. I was just like, damn, like there's so many different things that people are marketing and stuff in this world that are just you go from like dick pills to sex pills, this, that, the third. There's um, the real marketing that gets real fun and interesting is when you're doing stuff that's
Gray market.
yeah, like the gray market. It really puts you to the test and you really learn marketing at a different level. I'll say that.
Can you elaborate on that a little
Yeah,
bit?
so this was a few years ago. Like I spent some ads for like weight loss, fat burn stuff. Like that one taught me a lot of different things because this was before and after I've done it. Like when they've changed, like you can do like the before after stuff because it was like super easy. And I remember those days of ads being so easy. And do you miss those days? You could miss them, but it's also fun the challenging ways now. So it's like that's why I just know I love what I do because it's like I love that there's a challenge. Like because I remember when it was just you really used to be able to put up an ad, bro, and like it was like imagine no competition really because it was very like no one really knew about getting their own website and selling stuff and all that, like how everyone knows now.
Yeah.
Now you have like the average person that doesn't even have the money to advertise. They still advertise and they still kind of block the market with their $10 ad spend budget. Like they still are in the way a little bit. It's just like traffic. Like it's like
just too
not
much.
not everyone's going to the same place or going to be at the same level, but they're still in the way.
They're still in the way.
And so
like, I mean, the Lamborghini, there could be a beat up Toyota Corolla, and the Lambo's here. You're still gonna have to wait.
Yeah, and so ads are at a certain type of level. Ads become not just like a skill set, but it's really a lot of philosophy, and like philosophy mixed with like psychology, and that's like where you're able to kind of like get these wins and hacks, and like you're competing with these other people who are like these other philosophers, and now these different philosophers we're damn near changing the algorithm and making things happen to just as I try to outbid or outcompete each other with smaller budgets.
Wow.
It's became that game, and that turned into when I started looking at it like that turned into a whole nother like fun game to me. So why I'm so open and learning and so much in this constant like learning and reading and figuring out different things because like it became a philosophy type thing now because the algorithm is like I don't want to say like the Matrix, but it's like it's a type of math that is just on another type of level, but we also create the algorithm. Like you create your own algorithm, right? Like if you go to everyone's phone, their algorithms like to them.
Yep.
And so trying to break through everyone's algorithm with marketing stuff like that, you have to do really interesting things with your ad copy to the creative to the wordplay to how they see the ad, what they see first, like all this type of stuff. It's very interesting.
Dude, it's It's funny. I've been in business, had businesses for the last 5 years. Ads in that world is something I never cracked, never really took a good swing at. And
Oh, I've seen it change. One of my good friends, I don't want to say his name, but people that do know, he was with a bunch of other guys. They're Cuban, and they were all crushing it with like e-commerce stuff. I met them when I first moved out here. I actually spoke at their event. I don't even know how the hell that happened, but I'm glad it happened because I met so many dope people and my friends with to this day. Me and Renee are actually speaking on that same event, and my boy Kendall too. He was on that event too.
is
And
that Kendall from CMOS?
yeah. And so when that whole Facebook ad thing happened, the iOS update, so many people pivoted because of that, because they didn't want to go into Google. They didn't want to they didn't. People a lot of times people don't give Google enough time of a chance. They don't see it working for a month and they're out. I'm like, it takes like 3 to 6 months.
Kind of like SEO, like it takes a while to
so
build
like
up.
a lot of people don't have that patience for that, and that was always the thing that I always would take note of. But people, I'm like, okay, I'm like, nah. Every time someone doesn't say, I'm like, oh, you don't got patience. I'm like, you don't have patience. Like I don't have patience, but like for certain things business wise, like I have patience because it's like you can't just quit. Like you quit. Like that's one time you fail is when you really quit. Like you just let it stop. But I've had friends turn to go into a whole different business business opportunities and then crush it. It's like a blessing in disguise when the Facebook iOS update happened, and it was like blocking on people's ads, on showing up, stuff like that. And some people are only dependent on Facebook, and now let me know you can't just be on one platform. And I kind of always thought that you need to be on Facebook, Google, YouTube ads. You want SEO going. A lot of people don't do SEO. Like the amount of people that don't do SEO,
it's crazy.
Makes it an open door window for a bunch of people that are going to do SEO because a lot of people don't do it and they don't have the patience and will. You need to have SEO going in your business. It's going to take 6 months for stuff to really up and rolling. Of course, there's hacks to get you at first, but you want to have real good SEO long term in your business if you want to be bringing you real traffic. That's different. Mix your numbers. Yeah. And those I see with the bigger companies that I have that I'm doing marketing for, and my partner, he handles all the SEO stuff, and that was the first time I was seeing someone have retainers for SEO. They're 20, 50,000, 100,000. I'm like, just for SEO, because I'm like these people, but big companies would do SEO.
Yeah, I've interviewed two people in the SEO world that I think very highly of, and that's Cody Schneider and Zachary Schubert, who both are wizards.
That's the guy that I watched his, I think.
That's Cody.
And see, he's someone I feel like I could sit with and talk for a long time.
I just interviewed him again this last week. And his episode comes out tomorrow. Our second time doing a pod. Okay. He's a good friend.
Does he live out here?
No, he lives in lives in Denver, so I did it virtually.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I'll do virtual episodes if it's the right people.
Did he grow up in Denver? Why does he live in Denver?
I don't think he grew up there. I think he just likes it.
I wonder if he went to University of Colorado or something.
Yeah, I don't know his background.
I've heard. I have this interesting thing with school because of course I was a football player. I was always thinking I wanted to go to Stanford. Mm-hmm. If in a perfect world I wanted to go to Stanford for sure because I was I wanted to be around business minded tech people. I already was thinking that when I was playing football, but I didn't have the grades for it. But I was always thinking that would have been a great opportunity. And so now I always look at what schools have these wizards come out of and stuff like that. And I wonder where they go and what happens, because I watched that Mark Zuckerberg documentary a bunch. I was I'd have loved to been in that, involved, creating my own thing, just imagine those people that saw all that data. Yeah.
Unreal.
That's insane. Cody's definitely someone I definitely could listen to for a long time.
Dude, there's times where he's just a great guy and he'll help me with certain things just as a friend. And I got to record our sessions because, bro, his mouse is moving so fast. He's clicking through different websites, SEMrush to this, to that. Yeah. And I'm like, brother, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but it looks really cool. I need to record this so I can watch it 8 times.
And the amount of data SEMrush and Ahrefs give you, SimilarWeb. I used to just geek out and go on SimilarWeb. I had to get myself out of SimilarWeb. I would go on there and just see all the data of everything, and I was just mind blown all the time. And for those who know, SimilarWeb's a website that shows you a bunch of everyone's online traffic. Damn, if you have the paid version, it'll show you almost everyone's traffic, what's bringing them the most money, as in marketing channels, to what their audience size is, their bounce rate. It shows you so much stuff. So if you're a marketing nerd, you geek out when you see stuff like this, because it's just you always wonder what someone's traffic source is, So you'll see someone, it could be a big company that's getting 1 million visits a month, and their bounce rate could be from like 30 to 50%, and you're just like, and sometimes people say, oh, that's high. I'm like, yeah, well, a lot of people do go on sites and bounce off, but the amount of data they're keeping with that, they still came on, and it's just insane. Like,
dude, somebody was saying that they sold a company, and the company was like a dead e-com brand.
Mm-hmm.
The product kind of died out. It had some regulatory issues,
Mm-hmm.
but a company still went and paid them three
Yeah.
times revenue for the pixel.
Yep.
Because they're just like, we're so big, we just want more data.
Yeah, I try to tell a lot of times like clients I work with, I'm like, hey, like reason why you need to be running ads too. If you're trying to exit, if you build your data, you could that beefs up your offer.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
Like, I try to let them know because like that's what people are looking for when they're buying. Look, everyone's looking to buy data, and there's a lot of people probably don't hear this if they're not in that world, but it's like big data is a thing.
100%.
That's what moves and shakes a lot of things. Reason why they even build these platforms, they're not building these platforms just because they want you to make a TikTok dance and talk about your fucking foot rub that you had in China or something. Like
they want your data.
They want your data, and that's what they're selling, and that's what if you're trying to exit, your data is what they're really looking for. They probably don't even give a shit about your product and service. They want to have that. Oh, you have girls that are 16 to like 33 that come here.
That shop,
how much like
we need that.
You have guys that like this, and they know that they probably have something else in their funnel that's like that data is perfect for it. Like so, that's a whole interesting. I love that too, and it's interesting topic itself. But yeah, like big data is where it's at, and it's when you have that marketing mind behind stuff. Like you can't even look. I can't drive on the freeway the same. I look at every billboard like nonstop. I'm looking at every billboard. I'm looking at every marketing sign constantly.
Dude, it's just like it's funny because when you unlock the marketing mind,
Mm-hmm.
you look like I watch commercials because I want to hear like, oh, what's their selling point? What's their angle here?
I want to know why they're spending that much money on whatever that
Dude,
their
and that's like my favorite thing. I
Yeah.
go on CNBC and I get some freaking random guy talking about some homemade deodorant he made. And I'm like, dude, let me look up the sales.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they do 180 million yearly in revenue.
Yeah.
Or it's like, remember that company? I mean, you were an athlete, so you definitely remember the Copper Fit. They had those knee sleeves, the arm.
Yeah,
sleeves.
they went, dude. Those went crazy.
Dude, you look at their revenue; they were doing like
went
800
crazy.
million a year in their best years, and it's like you look at the commercial and you're like, bro, what is this?
Trash.
Just ripping sales.
And it's almost like, is that like the live, like the new version is like TikTok Live? Like
Could be.
those commercials were so boring to me, but they were good though.
Yeah.
They had the call to action on the commercial, like the number was right there. They would constantly keep giving the number to call, giving the sense of urgency, like you buy this now, you get it, get a deal. Like they had all the right things. So you look at like those still kind of work for like older people. That's why you see a lot of older target, products, for that. But I saw now why they were crushing it, but when I first used to see those commercials,
It's like, bro,
I was
stop
like,
this shit.
if
I'll never
I can't
buy
turn this shit any faster,
Yeah.
Because
like, bro, we're watching. I'm like, dude, I'm not about to dial this number and buy some arm sleeve, but there is some old
think
guy
ever
in
in my life that
Arkansas that said, fuck yeah.
It was like the lawnmowers stuff
Yep.
too, like
the weed killer.
like-
There was so many of these brands that you look at the commercial and you think, bro, this is stupid. Then you
Yeah.
look at the revenue
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh my god, like
what they sell for. It's just the crazy thing is once you get to that level where you start realizing and recognizing a lot of things, like there's so much valuable information like right in front of your face.
Yep. Like literally right in front of your face.
Like you could take the example of even like Alex Hormozi. Like Alex Hormozi, he's not a social media guy. Zero, not whatsoever. Why is he dropping a video every day?
Because he knows there's value in it.
And then people would use it, people always like to use that, like, oh, this person makes a lot of money, like, they don't need to do that. Other people are like, no, you're seeing a lot of billionaires now come out of the woodworks and they're starting to drop content and they're hiring teams. That social media job, creative job now in the marketplace, if you go on, like, ZipRecruiter and, like Glassdoor and all stuff like that, becoming a real job that's needed.
That's paying a lot.
And that person in that job will be, like, buddy next door with the CEO of the company faster than the top sales guy will.
Dude, it's interesting. I've had this conversation with friends. So Alex Lieberman, the guy that created Morning Brew, that newsletter that sold for X $100 million, he launched a new company called StoryArb, and it is a content media kind of agency, writing agency for CEOs.
Interesting.
They launched it like 5 months ago. They're doing like 190,000 a month already in revenue.
Yeah.
And like he's like, all of these CEOs want personal brands now.
Yeah.
That SaaS CEO, he wants to be on social media. The
Yep.
Fitbit CEO
Yep.
wants to be on social media. Nobody was servicing.
Mark Zuckerberg. Why is he fit now?
Yeah,
Why is Jeff
dude.
Bezos fit now?
Because they have that image.
It tells you everything.
It drives sales.
Yeah.
Dude, if I see a CEO and he's a fat lard and like a bum, you don't look at that product the way that you would look at a product on like. So I think this is a great example. The president of Shopify, Harry, whatever.
Yeah.
He crushes on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's active. He's writing people. For example, I have a best friend who owns a cigar company. Cigars are hard to sell online. There's so many, you can't run ads, so many regulatory things. So one of the issues is a payment processor. Most payment processors will not serve it because it's a high-risk product. So he was having trouble. He had a Shopify website, but he couldn't get a payment processor that would service him. I tweeted, at Harry, I have a best friend who's on Shopify. He's trying to launch a brand. It's a national brand that's not selling online. He doesn't have a payment processor. That guy DM'd me, asked me for my email, added me and my friend to an email thread with 3 people from the company, and he had a payment processor in 2 hours. Like that. That is the president of a multi-7, 8-figure company going out of his way to do stuff. I immediately went and doubled my position in the stock. I'm like, this is a winner right here. This is a winner. So it's 100%. Like, but if he didn't have a brand or a personal brand, that opportunity would have never happened. And I can only imagine the hundreds of other people that had that same experience with him.
I know.
So I think social media, like we said, is very early. People are still jumping in. And I think there's huge opportunity.
We're still like in the process of like we're having access to everyone at your fingertips. That's still a new thing. And it's just like, just think about this. Like, you don't even know the amount of people that watch your videos.
Yep.
Because they might not follow you. They might not like it. But the person that you look up to probably watch your video more than you think. Because everyone's on there scrolling. I sometimes, like, even when I find myself watching someone's video that's, like, some random. Like, I'm watching a video, I'm like, I would never in my life even run across this kid.
Yeah. And now you're just locked in.
And I'm like looking, I looked at 10 of his videos. I'm like, that's crazy. So it's eventually who's with you.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I think
you never knows where it goes.
I think there's a ton of opportunity.
It's insane. It's insane. Like seeing how my boy Jordan Welch, like seeing like how I've known him for years and like how big he is now on YouTube. And he's over here like in other countries and people are coming up to him and stuff like that. It's like I know to him he's probably thinking like, damn, like this is pretty insane that this is happening, you know? But it's like this is what the phone could do, the internet could do. Literally just
Dude, that's what the phone can do for you.
It's insane. Or times where I'm like running my whole business just off my phone. Like I'm just using an iPad right now.
That's like the biggest flex is like how much of your business can you accomplish on your phone?
Yeah, you have good at least like 5 to 10 team members that are handling a lot of junk and you're just like operating this, making final decisions and edits. You don't even need to like, it's insane.
Dude, again, going back to the main topic, we live in a fucking amazing time.
Yeah, no, we do, and like it's like something to be so thankful for, like so thankful for.
So thankful.
What people are creating is just Uber. Like you don't even need a car if you live in certain cities. Like it's like you have a personal driver at all times.
It's insane.
That's cheaper than actually having a personal driver.
Yeah.
You know, like. And
you can make it the luxury experience you would want with a personal driver when you want it, and you can make it a normal experience when you want it.
Yeah, and it's like it's insane. So it's like you gotta love these things, man. You gotta love people creating. That's why I love the entrepreneur community because I'm like we're the ones that make the world sometimes go around. I feel like like there's new things, there's new opportunities that come up, and someone's always trying to make something easier for everyone.
Yep, there's always room for simplifying.
Like just like think about FaceTime. Like we couldn't FaceTime back in the day. There's this. You're probably too young to remember. There was this movie on Disney. I think it was called like Xenon or something like that. She was like in the future, and they were like using FaceTime, but it wasn't FaceTime. It was like some alien futuristic thing. That's a normal thing now. You know, like you could talk to someone. I talked to some of my boys in UK and Dubai, and
you're looking at each other.
Yeah, and like it's just insane where things are going, and God knows where it's about to go. Like, are we gonna be able to? When I'm like flying back and forth from here in Cali. I always think sometimes I'm like going back in time, so I feel like I'm time traveling. Yeah. Or I'm either going forward or backwards. It's like every time, and it's always just makes me like think like, and then the amount of stuff I get done sometimes in a day with doing that like I time traveled, and it's just like
it's crazy.
It kind of just it blows my mind sometimes, like it blows my mind. It's just a very crazy time.
Dude, unreal. So there's a question I like to ask at the end of every interview. And the question is, if you were to go 10 years forward and look back now, time traveling,
Okay.
what has to happen in the next 10 years for you to think that you succeeded?
Next, in the next 10 years, I definitely want to like have like be all with my like whole family in a house type thing. I'll probably still be doing like business, dope shit, stuff like that, but just that part. Cause like the business stuff is gonna keep coming and going. That's not gonna ever end. But I want to at least be there already with that, with like family stuff.
All right.
Yeah, because there's so much business that's gonna happen and all that. That's not the main thing. That's just like normal, kind of like how it just kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Like
So you being able to provide a house for your family and
yeah,
have everybody around
like
you.
that's ideal.
That's
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, that's success.
Dude, that's beautiful.
The business stuff is it's a video game to me. I love to play that. Makes me be able to do that shit.
Yep.
That's like what it is for. So I could be able to do that at a level, just like, I just want to be how you see the OG investors play that game, like you have the money, you're just buying and flipping companies and buying real estate. Like you're at that high level, buying apartments, like 200 plus units type thing,
Yeah.
Like that's, and you're hiring people to do it for you. I want to hire people like me to run my shit type thing, like that's, you have 20 of them, like
Hell
that's
yeah.
where you want to, that's kind of where I want to be at. That's like what I see, and it's like because I do this for other guys at that level. I'm like, oh yeah, like I know, I kind of I'm playing my ducks in a row and building my relationships the right way. Like that's
You're getting yourself
they tell me
set
this. They tell me the same shit. They're like you're doing what you need to be doing, boy. Like they say stuff like that. It's like you make sure don't spend it now. You already did it before. Now just think long term. Like I hear it all. So
dude, I love it. I know you're gonna succeed. I know you're gonna
appreciate it,
achieve
man.
that, and I hope to have this show going 10, 20
You
years
gotta
from now.
keep this on for people
Dude.
like us that like to hear this type of stuff and geek
Yeah,
out.
and then I think it's cool for me is like I could have you back on in a year.
See what's happened.
What happened?
It could be either learning lessons, but people need to hear both.
Yep.
Like those are some of the best stories when people hear like someone like lost it all then got it back type
100%.
thing. Those are like the dope stories. And so it's like, yeah, definitely like, obviously like starting a new business venture. So I definitely like to come back and talk about that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very interesting of what some things that happened during that time.
100%. Yeah. Once that business is up and crushing, even if it's 6 months from now, I'll have you back on. We can go into detail.
Yeah.
Everybody will already know you by then, so that you can go and drop that.
Thanks for having me too, man. I definitely appreciate it. Like you're a great soul, man. So I already know we're gonna be friends after this. I know right away. I don't know why. I know when someone's a good person. So.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to make sure everybody here can connect with you. Where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
The best place right now is Instagram, Van Denis. That's VanDenniss. Be careful, there's a lot of fake ones out there. And then also my YouTube, I'm starting to upload a lot of content. I've been recording. I shot like my first few videos in my new office in California. So even though I live here, like the headquarters over there with my partners. Yeah, man, I'm gonna try to pump out more content. It's obviously very important. I know it's great that I did, then I stopped. I kept having issues with my account getting hacked and deleted, and I was like, okay, am I gonna keep doing this? If they're gonna keep deleting my account, But yeah, man, I'm going all in. I love showing like behind the scenes stuff, like
for sure.
Very like genuine, cool, regular type day to day stuff. Could be boring, but some people love it,
Yeah, for sure. And all of that is going to be linked in the description below, the YouTube, the Instagram, so you guys don't get finessed by some of these finessers.
Yeah.
Make sure we go to the real ones.
Yeah, they're doing it.
But if you do want to connect with him, or if you have a business that you think his services would be applicable, reach out, tell him you heard it on Beyond the Wealth. And then, brother, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.